family, it's Jaquie Rogers with Mama to Mama, and I am joined by my own mother, Surilla Shaw, nurse and therapist, as well as the founder of IPET, which stands for
Improving Parent Efficacy Together.
Yes, yes. It's amazing how the universe works to pull all things together, and I'm really grateful that I'm able to embark on journeys of purpose alongside my mother. I
am too.
Yes, I just had to say that. But we also are super grateful to those of you who took the time out, over 1,000 of you, who took the time out to view our last video where we introduced the first 3 tenets of Alan Wolfelt's 11 tenets of Companioning the Bereaved. And so today's video, we hand selected 3 tenets that resonated deeply with us, and we'll be sharing those today as our last round of discussing this specific resource around companioning the bereaved. And so we'll just jump right in.
Okay.
All right. So the first tenet that we'll talk about today is tenet 4. Companioning is about listening with the heart. It is not about analyzing with the head.
All right. So Jaquie, we want our listeners to recognize again that we are coming from the perspective of the individual who is seeking to offer support to someone who is in bereavement.
Yes.
So in this particular tenet, we have to realize our heart and our head are going to be sending different messages. When this person is falling apart or withdrawing in front of us, we have a choice. Mm-hmm. We can either tell them how to get over it, or we can take the time to be with them in it. So if we make the second choice, it is going to take of our time. It's going to mean turning the television off, even if the show is getting to your favorite part. It's going to mean that I can't be quick and safe right now, because if I'm being quick and safe, I'm only going to be helping myself. I'm not going to do anything that's really going to be helping this individual. I may have purchased the tickets, but if they just can't get out of the car and go in, I have to accept and be in that car with them and hear where it is that they are. We have to recognize that this individual needs us right now. It is a known fact that many may turn to drugs or alcohol just to get a little feeling of relief from how devastated life has become for them. The bottle is not going to judge them. The needle is not going to tell them that they're in the wrong place in their head. And I'm sure that any individual would rather have a warm, caring individual that will hear and support where they are. And so I've got to get my heart and my head in a position where I can be there for them.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So the second tenet that we picked was tenet 7, and it is companioning is about discovering the gifts of sacred silence. It does not mean filling up every moment with words. Oh.
I like it. I like that it refers to silence as sacred. Yeah. The presence of 2 individuals together without words says so much.
Yeah.
And I'll know, if you're here with me for me, you don't have to be talking to me. I'll know if you're in a hurry. I'll know if I'm making you nervous. I'll know if I'm making you feel bad. Mm-hmm. So then I need you. If I have lost and I'm devastated and my life has changed, the rug has been pulled out, I'm here. And I'm here to a certain extent alone, unless you can be here with me.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I know a lot of times in life, even as an educator, sitting in silence is probably one of the hardest things for us to do, because we always feel like space should be filled with movement or sound and just sitting. But sometimes some of the most profound catharses have come for me from just sitting in silence. especially in the presence of someone whose presence also gives me permission to feel in that moment, as opposed to feeling like I have to entertain.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brotherly love, there's just nothing like it.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. So the final tenet that we'll be reviewing is tenet 9. Whew. Companioning is about respecting disorder and confusion. It is not about imposing order and logic. Ooh, I can't wait to hear about that one.
Disorder and confusion are a part of bereavement. Things have changed for that individual, Jaquie. And even though we as the person companioning aren't seeking to bring more confusion and disorder into the situation, we have to allow it and we have to make room for it. The disorder can come simply from the fact that this person used to take care of that. And I never really learned how because they had it. Mm-hmm. And now they're gone. So how do I both continue with my responsibilities and pick up what that is that they were doing? Now my schedule is compounded from what it was. How do I do all of this? There's a disorder. There's a certain amount of confusion. What happened? How did this happen? Why did this happen to me? And so we want to avoid, as we support them, saying things like, oh, don't question it. Don't you worry, the universe knows what is best, etc. There is a time and place for those types of conversations, but certainly not when I am confused. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to need your help and your support as I seek to make sense and gather my life back together out of the fragments that I have been left.
And so one of the questions that popped into my head, actually back when you were discussing tenet 4, was this notion of time. When we're on the outside, so to speak, as the companion, when questions about how much time is healthy for the grieving process, or how long can I expect to serve in this companionship role, what would you say about time and how much time we could expect to give as the support system for our loved one who's grieving?
All right, so I will say this, Jaquie, if you are beginning to grow weary, you would be of more advantage to that bereaving individual if you would pull back and replenish yourself and then come back in again as an effective person. Yeah. It is not fair for us to put a timeline or a time clock on that individual. They need us to be there. They need our presence and our support as the individual is going through this traumatic and devastating experience. It is what it is for them. And you have to be your best and bring your best when you're going to be with them. 3-4 years from now, you may be sitting on the same couch talking about the lost individual. But it is important that I am aware of what I'm bringing to this individual as they're going through that. And to never bring less than what's going to be helpful for them. I am not there for me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This has been enlightening for me. And we hope that it has been for you all as well. So just to summarize, last video we went over the first 3 tenets of Alan Wolfelt's Companioning the Bereaved. We picked 3 this time around to go over, and so this wraps up our specific conversation around the 11 tenets. But next time around, we look forward to talking a little bit about treatment versus companioning. What's the difference between the two, as well as, drum roll, launching the schedule for our upcoming workshop series that we'll be bringing to the community around companioning the bereaved. And so we're really excited about taking this conversation beyond the videos to face-to-face meetings to help support community members who are interested in learning more about being that companion, as well as hopping on board some other cool things that we'll be launching in the 2019 year. So with that being said, thank you so much for the support. If you are interested in learning more about Adam Wolfelt's 11 Tenets of Companioning the Bereaved, I encourage you to check out his book, The Handbook for Companioning the Mourner, 11 Essential Principles by Dr. Alan D. Wolfelt, PhD. The book can be purchased online at www.centerforloss.com or by calling the Center for Loss and Life Transition at 970-226-6050.